I've currently become a block captain, and one of the items we've added is a chat mechanism where all the neighbors can communicate with each other and patrol our neighborhoods together to keep each other safe. The second item would be the update to our general plan for the city and preserving our rustic environment in this city, and also adding businesses as part of that general plan to the Valley and AMAR corridors. And lastly would be supporting our public schools. Some of the buildings need refurbishment, and we need to look at that.
Okay, thank you. And Betty, what about your top 3 priorities?
Yes, for my priority, I like to say the quality life environmental. That's very important. That's including, everybody said, the public safety and also traffic, pollution, and a lot of things, crime rate. We need to watch that. The second priority I like to point out for our senior services and the benefit. Right now, everybody knows baby boomer. After 5 years, 10 years. So what we can do for the senior and what kind of services we can provide to the senior. We need to reserve the money, reserve the fund to do the plan for the next 10 years, 20 years. The third, I like to point out our Walnut value. It's a good place to live because we have the very safety environmental and a good school district. Our city, how to work with the school district to support our education, to keep our value. That's very important. Thank you.
There are questions about the Walnut Valley School District, obviously.
May I try that question?
Oh yeah, sure, go ahead.
I will give you a very fresh start. Obviously, safety is very important. But have you thought of why Walnut's beautiful today? Because 20, 30, 40 years ago, at that time, council members, city mayors, they planned Walnut in certain ways. We had beautiful parks, beautiful landscaping. How about the next 20, 30 years? I have the forward thinking. I want to make sure Walnut's beautiful another 20, 30, 40 years. I want to set some policies in place. It will be very difficult for bad developments, encourage obviously good developments. I don't worry about safety too much, so I'm going to briefly touch on that. 2 years ago, as you may have remembered, we had a spike of crimes, but we worked with the captain, his team. We knocked it out within very few months. So I don't think that's a long-term issue. I think that's an issue we can resolve very, very quickly. In fact, if you know that we have made a number of arrests, that didn't get to say enough. So I want to thank Captain and his team by doing that. In Snow Creek, about 2 weeks ago, we made a very important arrest. You guys never heard about it. A few days ago, there was a car accident. They went out there just within a few minutes, took care of it. So safety, we can deal with it, no problem. How about relationship with Mount Sac, their development? I think that's very important. We have to watch that very, very closely because if we don't, they have lots of money, they can do a lot on their lot. I think that's something we need to worry about. How about the development on Greenwich 60 Freeway? That will impact our whole city. I think those things are bigger issues that we need to take care of. Crime, I don't care. School issues, obviously we care, but that's not a jurisdiction. There's nothing we can do for the school inside what they can do. What we can do is protect, make sure they have the safety, make sure the street, make sure the traffic, that can be solved easily. But we need to think 20, 30, 40 years down the line, what Walnut's going to look like. They talk about what your kid's going to enjoy. We need to think about it right now and plan it right now. So that's my 3 points.
Okay, thank you. Number of questions about the Walnut School District. Obviously, you guys don't govern that, but the general tenor of the question is, how would you, as a city council member, support the excellence of the schools here? And would you plan on supporting the next school bond that comes along? How about you, Andrew?
Thank you. Well, I just want to say that my education here in Walnut really prepared me for college. I pulled a lot of late all-nighters in college, but they were nothing compared to the schoolwork that Walnut High School provided me. So I think that in order to maintain the quality of world-class education here in the city, we need to be a partner with the school district. I did support Measure O. I thought it was great. I thought it really would benefit Walnut. And I'd like to read about the new proposed ballot measure coming up, but I am open to supporting it, and I will do my homework before I make a decision. But I do want to work as a partner with both Walnut Valley and Roland Unified, because there are parts of Walnut that are in the Roland Unified District, and they are just as important as the Walnut Valley students. So I look forward to working with the school district to ensure that we maintain the world-class education here in our city.
Okay, Bella, what are you going to do, Bella, to support the schools, and will you support the next school bond?
In the past, when there's a bond measure in the school, my husband and I would sit down and would discuss it. And most often than not, we voted for the school measures, so school bonds. We look into it as that any improvement in the school will also reflect to the residents of the city. I am not, my school district is Roland, and it is equally as good as the Walnut. I know we have an excellent school in Walnut, and as Andrew had said, we have to really look into what the bond says before we could say, yeah, we'll vote for it. But as I said, when it comes to education, when it comes to improvement to our schools that have been in the past that we have encountered, we have voted for it. For whatever measure that is coming through for Walnut, I get to see it and to see how our schools can be faring with the rest of the schools around the area. Thank you.
Okay. Nancy, what's your position on the schools and how you will best support them, and what do you think about upcoming bond issues?
Well, I think in my intro you heard all the things I've been doing for the schools for the last 20 years, and very, very involved in schools, very active as a community club president, treasurer, room mom, then coordinating council vice president and president for 2 years, so very involved in the schools. I was actually on the equalization task force many years ago. We were trying to get equal funding because of all the unequal funding within the state. I was on the facility advisory committee, was the Collegewood representative at the time, went around all the schools to see what was needed, made recommendation. Measures S and Y was actually asked, because of my finance and accounting background and experience in the community club, to be the treasurer for that bond campaign. I was the volunteer treasurer for that. I've been very active. Whenever there's a bond on the ballot, I really want to look at it very closely, especially after the last bond the city went through. I want to know where the how the money's going to be spent. I want to know how it's going to be overseen. I want to know what all the administration fees are being paid out there. There's been 2 very recent Attorney General opinions that just came out the last week of January, covering one city bonds and school bonds, and the allocation of how the attorneys and how the financial people are paid with that. I think that's something we really need to look at, make sure we're always following the laws and doing things transparency, open, competitive betting process, so that we are making every dollar decision wisely spent. Thank you.
Dino, your views on supporting the schools and bond issues coming up.
Yes, we need to support our schools in any way that we can. There are certain ways that we can work with the city staff to enhance some of the school funding in ways that the school board cannot. As far as bond measures, we need to investigate those closely. There has been some doubt that has been sown to the taxpayers' minds with the misappropriation of bond funds from Measure RR and Mount SAC, and how they've been attempted to use them some non-educational facilities. So for a bond measure, I would certainly look at it, and I'm quite open to it. But I would like them to be targeted, mainly on refurbishing our schools, especially Walnut High and Suzanne Middle School, and ensuring that the schools in the city of Walnut get their fair share of the bond money.
Okay. Betty, how about your views on the schools?
Yes, I support education. That's why since 17 years ago, I was room mom for the Oswald Elementary School, and I'm the parents volunteer for the Collegewood Elementary School and the Suzanne School and Walnut High School. Even right now, I'm still serve the school and the school district. Definitely, I support education, and we help parents, help school get the donation over 100,000 to the school, to the district. Also, I create education fair every year, helps the parents, helps the students there. That's why I support education. But for the bond, I think I don't support increase tax. If school really needs money, we can see the situation. The one words I like share, if school really needs money, we need to make sure everything is working, and for the whole things, it's speed with control.
Okay. Eric, your views on the schools and support for future
Yes.
bond measures.
I'd like to share with you why the major role came about. I think many of you perhaps don't know this, so let me share with you. Our distribution of tax dollars is not fair. We have a wealthier area compared to some of the less fortunate schools. So the state of California, when they took our tax dollars, comes back, we get less amount than some of the schools. So you pay more taxes, you don't get back as much. So that means same school will get smaller portion of money coming back. So when we have that year after year after year, where do we get those money? Can you ask yourself? I don't like to increase any taxes, but where do you get the difference in money coming back to our school? You ask yourself. For years, we haven't been able to do any improvements. Dr. Taylor came to me about a little bit over a year ago. Since he came aboard, our school, every year, we're climbing up and up and up. The last few years, 2-3 years, since Dr. Taylor came here, we're top 10, the best school. But our tax dollar getting back, it's just not fair. So how do you keep on improving our school without those money? Ask yourself. I don't like to pay taxes, but I support major role. Because without those money, where do we get it? Your property value is high today. A lot of it has to do with our school district. I don't want to see our school going down. I have to pay the same taxes as you do. I have to pay the same taxes. None of my friends benefit. I don't talk to developers. I don't have any special interest. Because I so believe, I see those school moms, we need to improve our schools. Where to get the money? So I think that's a core issue that you guys perhaps didn't know. So that's why I will support a major role.
We are going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back with more of your questions after that. Thank you.
How are you? Good. Well, it's good to see you. Hope to see you around.